Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here today with a top tip for glossy glazes. Now we're going to be playing around with the 6 brand new bright shades of glossy glaze which have just been released. And we're going to be creating arty backgrounds. For this I'm going to use a palette knife and a piece of bright white Foundations cardstock. Now I'm going to be honest, this is very precise, you've got to put a lot of care, a lot of attention into this. Quite clearly not. We're just going to take our paste and we're going to use our palette knife and we're just going to place them down onto the card, spreading them out to cover all areas we can see. We're not going to let the colours necessarily dry in between use, we're just going to go straight on and let them mix and create depth and colour where wishing. As you can see so far, I've gone in with our lovely red, which is Heritage Red. I've then used the Orange Flame and I'm now bringing in some of the Parisian Purple. Now these are going to mix and create their own shades and colours, which is quite lovely. Especially when we start bringing in the Curious Blue, you're going to notice that the Curious Blue going over the top of the Orange Flame is going to create some lovely light green shades too. Now do be careful not to create too many brown areas. Now a little bit of brown don't hurt, but you don't probably want the whole lot ending up brown. This will start to dry quite quickly and you will keep the texture of how you've applied them, which is quite great. Because these are glossy glazes, you'll also maintain that glossy finish. And because this is a durable product, once you've created it and your background is dry, if you wish to die cut from this, or you'd like to score it, or you'd like to emboss it in an embossing folder, stamp on top of it, or use a stenciling and go over the top of it, you can certainly do that. The card there was just using one of my panel canvas dies, and I've put it through and cut it and created a canvas with it. So again, it shows how durable it is. On to our next technique. This time I'm going to use some woodware stencil tape and I'm going to take my piece of bright white card and I'm going to just stencil off some areas. Now we are going to be using the masking tape as well, so I'm going to purposely make sure I cover all the way up to the top of the masking tape too. I'm going to go in here with a few different colours. So I've started off with fuchsia pink, going over the lines between the stencil tape and of course the card. Now if you wanted to stamp on top of your stencil tape before you use this, that would be absolutely fine. You could also stamp on your background, you could also stamp over the top of all of it when it's down if you wanted to, but we're going to be creating our own fancy stencil tape which is going to look a lot like washi tape. We're also going to be creating our own fancy background, hence why we're worried about both pieces at once. I'm now going in here with Orange Flame and doing exactly the same as we did for the first background, but I am trying to keep my colours a little bit lighter. The last one ended up very bright, very full on, and I like that, that's lovely, that's not a problem. And if you're going to put red on something, it's probably going to end up there pretty quickly, let's be honest. We had bright red and bright orange, but with this one we're going to tone it down slightly. We're going to stick with the Orange Flame, we're going to add in the fuchsia pink, and we're now going in with a little bit of the purple, which is of course Parisian Purple. This is one of the beauties of a product like this. You can build them up into whatever colour schemes you want to build them up to. Now when you peel off your stencil tape, this will dry quite quickly, the same as the background will, and it will show you how you can have that mottled effect on your stencil tape. Now these are already self-adhesive, so you could just pop these straight onto another card as a border or a frame or an element if you want to. If you want to add more glue to them so they adhere even better for longer, absolutely fine. Again, if you wanted to do more techniques to them, you could do. Now you're going to see a couple of areas that it's seeped under my stencil tape. That's absolutely fine to me. They're the locations I would put my flowers, my sentiments, bits like that. All it means is I've got a bit carried away with my palette knife and hooked the stencil tape up as I've gone. This card is one where I've actually masked off the areas and you'll see in the back of the card. The card we're on now is the masking tape used and just put across to make up borders. All of the products I've shared with you today are of course available from all good creative expression stockists. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon.